It's the Diamond K Show.
So much going on in the world. You talk about things from the perspective of how it is. DJ Diamond K, sometimes it comes off like you are almost not in support of, but you just accept the way things are and there's no chance of change. Check me out on YouTube. That's the part that I am just like,
OnFireTV.com.
On your man Diamond K back in here. A lot of things going on. Hopefully we will get some type of resolution and some accountability for the former president. Looks like the Department of Justice is investigating, and they've been investigating, right? They've been investigating. Thank you. Yes, Bree, I do feel 100% better. They've been investigating, right? They've been talking about stuff, but finally, it seems as though the Department of Justice is looking directly at Trump's conduct of his closest allies. Maybe there might be some accountability. I think that Trump definitely needs to go to jail. I don't think he's going to jail, but he does need to go to jail. When you look at what he did, what he helped bring about, what he put a battery in those folks' backs to do, man. So Justice Department is bringing two of his former flunkies, former Vice President Mike Pence, in front of a federal grand jury. This is very aggressive. I'm surprised that they're even doing this much. So they're getting aggressive, and it's signaling that at least the Department of Justice is trying to make it seem like they want to hold some folks accountable. So former Chief of Staff Mark Short testified in front of a grand jury in D.C. last week on Friday. Fellow Pence aide Greg Jacob testified in recent weeks as well. So the questions to Short and Jacob included a focus on this fake elector scheme and the role Trump's lawyers, attorney John Eastman, and of course the clown Rudy Giuliani, what role that they played. So of course these guys were present at some key meetings that led up to the January 6th insurrection. And it was an insurrection. These folks ran up in the White House. Ran up in the Capitol. We could not lose sight of that. Imagine if Black Lives Matter rolled up in the Capitol. It would have been bloodshed. Imagine if a whole bunch of Muslims ran up in the Capitol. There would have been a whole lot of bloodshed, right? But these MAGA folks felt empowered by the former president, and they ran up in the Capitol and assaulted the police, just disrespecting this country in a big way. And they were led there by the former president, who wants to be president again. Can you imagine the chicanery that would happen if they let this fool back in there? Yeah. So Jacob, we're talking about, is a former legal advisor to Mike Pence. He has participated in the House January 6th Select Committee investigation, testified publicly at a hearing last month. And so they're trying to figure out how to approach this investigation. It's very delicate. It's very delicate for the Department of Justice. So the department has faced an immense amount of pressure from lawmakers, from former prosecutors, from others, to focus on the ringleaders. They've been really focused on the folks that went into the Capitol. But you also got to focus on who put a battery in these people's backs. Why were they there? Right? If somebody gets hired to kill somebody, you get the trigger person, but who paid you to be here? Right? Who was the mastermind behind this? That's who they got to focus on as well. Yeah. I mean, the minions. Yeah, you get the minions but you also have to get the ringleader, and Trump is the ringleader. So yes, it's been very delicate how they've approached this. Any investigation into a former president is going to be sensitive, right? Because we're talking about Donald Trump. So the potential for explosive political and legal questions, it's all over the place. And this we know. So people say, oh, this has never happened before, them targeting the president. No, it's never happened before that the president led an insurrection and tried to have some people help him overthrow the government. That's never happened before. So yes, the reaction to that is also going to be something that never happened before. So don't let this guy, yeah, he has charisma, he can tell some jokes, but don't let him trick you into thinking that he's the victim, because he is not the victim. He is the instigator of a lot of this. This clown right here, Donald Trump. And yeah, he's dangling whether he's going to run again. Okay, he can run again. It doesn't matter. You already committed these crimes. You're not going to be able to change that. So yes, the Department of Justice is approaching this situation delicately. But they need to get to it because a lot of time has passed. So Mike Pence's, the former vice president, his inner circle is now being compelled to cooperate. Now, they're a year late with this. They should have been here with the vice president's folks last year. They should be on the former president's folks now. So they're late. But yeah, better late than never. So Merrick Garland, visibly frustrated when a reporter grilled him about the possibility that the former president would be charged. You know, he seems to be more frustrated that folks are asking him whether he's going to charge somebody than he actually is about what the president did, former president. You know, he's more mad. Well, y'all asking me about this. You don't seem to have any emotion about what 45 has continued to do. No person is above the law in this country, Merrick Garland said. All right. So there was an interview with Lester Holt on NBC Nightly News yesterday. Garland said that the DOJ would look at any interference on the lawful transfer of power. Oh, it sounds really good. I don't believe him until I see it, right? Merrick Garland he does not seem like he's serious about what he's saying. He seems like he's in over his head. He seems like a lifeguard that doesn't know how to swim and is just hoping that nobody gets in the pool and almost drowns because he can't swim. That's what Merrick Garland appears to be to me. But he says, I will say again that we will hold accountable anyone who is criminally responsible for attempting to interfere with the legitimate, lawful transfer of power from one administration to the next. You got to be careful with all these words, right? He used a whole lot of words there. He says that, I will say it again, that we will hold anyone accountable who is criminally responsible. You got to focus on that word criminally, because they could say, oh, he did stuff, but he wasn't criminally responsible, and then say we won't charge him with anything. You got to watch these attorneys because they can be real, tricky. They can be real tricky. I agree with Latrice on Instagram, says that they need to charge him and he can't run for nothing ever again. Look, they definitely need to do that. I would love to see that happen. Adam Kinzinger, one of the two Republicans on the House Select Committee, said that Pence's aides testifying is a positive development. I mean, yeah, it's a step in the right direction, but we need to see a whole lot more than that. So the Department of Justice, they need to look at any possible criminality. And there's a whole lot there. What have they been doing for the last year and a half? They're just trying to step things up now? I mean, they just sitting there playing with their toes? Like, this happened. I don't know. If Black Lives Matter ran up in the Capitol a year and a half later, they wouldn't still be twiddling their thumbs saying, maybe we might charge somebody. If President Obama got the Black Lives Matter folks amped up to run in the Capitol, they wouldn't be like, well, maybe. I don't know. No, they would have did this last year. But hey, a lot has happened. And they need to get to it. So according to the House Select Committees, their public presentations, which ended, so that they said that they're coming back in September. We're going to see how that works. We're going to see how this goes. But Trump thinks that he's going to be able to skate by this. Trump thinks that he's going to be able to just weasel his way out of this like he's done those sexual misconduct allegations. Squeeze by it like he has the numerous bankruptcies. Squeeze by it as he has with other legal endeavors and the such. So the Justice Department, the Department of Justice, are there any other signs that they are taking this serious and might really bring charges against Donald Trump? Right? What else? What else do we have to go by? So the investigators have seized electronics from some of the Trump flunkies, like the attorney Eastman. They did that in June. They raided the home of a former Justice Department official, Jeffrey Clark, another prominent player in Trump's plots. So they've been getting electronic devices. In one instance, FBI agents asked for a prominent Georgia Republican whether he's had direct contact with Trump, direct conversations. So they're trying to build a case very slowly, but they're doing it so slow motion. They need to pick this thing up. It has been way too much time. So the department has issued a number of subpoenas. And in recent weeks, they're trying to get information in all 7 battleground states where Trump's campaign assembled this false, fake electors as part of his scheme to subvert the Electoral College. He tried to come up with a scheme to trick people. I mean, he's been, blatantly lying. He did not win the election. But he's so surprised that he lost to slow Joe Biden that he can't believe it. But yes, you're that bad that you got beat by slow Joe Biden. Joe Biden's slow, but he's faster than Trump. How about that? So, the House committee described the fake electoral plot in which Trump supporters would be fraudulently put forward as substitutes for the legitimate electors. Yeah, they did that. That in itself is a crime. We're not even talking about them running the Capitol yet. This whole elector scheme, they tried that first. That didn't work. They tried it. So you have that. The Department of Justice has also upped the ante with its prosecutions of the minions, the sheeple who actually violently assaulted the Capitol and the police officers and threatened the Congress folks and all that, their families and everything. Damaged property. People lost their lives. So you had this treasonous conspiracy, seditious conspiracy charges is what they're calling it. So you have that brought against prominent members of these fringe right-wing groups who you started to see popping up when former President Obama was in office, right? They was mad. And, you've had these little military groups, paramilitary. They like to dress up in camouflage and run around in the forest and stuff. And then Trump came and they were like, let's activate. That's what happened. But now these fringe groups who are accused of planning to oppose by force the lawful transfer of presidential power. Now look at them. In a world of crap, Trump can't help them. So you have these folks who are folding like cheap chairs under the pressure. These folks are folding under pressure. Donald Trump is at great risk of prosecution. So this investigation is expanding. You're going to have folks folding. Yes, he is at risk. There's a possibility. But we still don't know whether the Department of Justice is actually going to pull the trigger. Because Merrick Garland is soft. Right? He's soft. He don't really want to do this. He's pressure. There's pressure there because everybody looking at him like, you ain't going to do nothing about this? And he didn't really want to do nothing. But the pressure is there. So here we are, 1 week after the January 6th House Select Committee wrapped up their summer hearings. Things are so crazy. The hearings are in seasons, right? You got the summer season, and then we're going to have the fall season. That's how crazy it is. But these summer season hearings expose Donald Trump's deep culpability for the events of January 6th. Things have started to look much worse for the former president. That part's good. But much worse ain't enough. It needs to be worse for him. On top of the congressional inquiry that is going on, the start of the week brought fresh reporting that a federal grand jury is accelerating its probe into Trump's attempt to overturn the 2020 election. Right? Now, I see what Bama is saying, right? He didn't try to overturn the government before. He did some other things. Okay, yeah, he stuck his hand up some girls' dresses. Yeah, he raped his wife. He did a whole bunch of stuff and nothing happened to him. He did not do something this much. At a certain point, you can go too far. So y'all can still keep thinking that he can do anything, get away with it. Eventually, he's going to go too far because that's what humans do. You keep pushing it and you keep pushing it, and then eventually you reach the breaking point. You know how folks are. The gas light's on E and you keep pushing it and you never run out of gas. And then at one time you push it too far, boom, stranded. Ran out of gas. Gas tank on E. Eventually, the former president is going to get caught doing something because that's what happens. Eventually. And I think he's reached that point. Eventually. So, but we're going to see. If there's anything that they should have get him on, it definitely is this. But yes, the Trump supporters can keep thinking that Trump's untouchable and all this kind of stuff. Right? But he lost the election, and y'all know he lost the election. If Hillary Clinton was talking about 2 years later how she really didn't lose the election, and don't go saying she didn't concede, so she ain't coming out talking about it, right? If she didn't call this Bama up, okay, fine, right? She didn't call him up, but she accepted the results. She ain't talking about she didn't really lose the election and she's really the president. She didn't lead a whole bunch of women into the Capitol. She didn't do none of that stuff. She sat home. She walked around in the woods. She did the stuff that Hillary does. And she moved on for life. That's all I'm saying. Doing too much. Donald Trump does too damn much. Take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
It's the Diamond K Show.
So much going on in the world. You talk about things from the perspective of how it is. DJ Diamond K, sometimes it comes off like you are almost not in support of, but you just accept the way things are and there's no chance of change. Check me out on YouTube. That's the part that I am just like,
On firetv.com. It's the Diamond K Show.
So much going on in the world. You talk about things from the perspective of how it is. DJ Diamond K, sometimes it comes off like you are almost not in support of, but you just accept the way things are and there's no chance of change. Check me out on YouTube. That's the part that I am just like,
On firetv.com.
So if the probe really focuses on Trump, if investigators really look at the conduct related to Trump and his closest allies to overturn his election defeat, if they really focus on that and hold him accountable, then I think things are going to be fine. We'll see. Because I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. I know where it should go. But we're going to have to see where things go.
On Fire TV is a streaming network for a generation on the move.
Is he going to run for president? Yeah, maybe. I don't think he wants to, though. He makes more money in the private sector. He makes more money as a regular citizen, scheming. It's a lot of rules when you're president. He breaks them, most of them, but they're still there. They're still there. That's why he's dangling it. Dangling. Maybe I'm going to run. Maybe I'm not going to run. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to do it. Maybe not. If he really wanted to do it, he would be doing it. But he doesn't really want to do it. He wants to continue the grift. He wants to continue to steal and scheme. That's what he wants to do. But hey, and here's the thing. Some of the Trump supporters are going to still vote for him. Yeah, some of the Trump supporters still think he's the way to go. So, on to his biggest competition. Soon to be 80 years old. Joe Biden will be 80 years old in November. Biden says he's feeling great. He is tested negative. He definitely handled COVID-19 better than Donald Trump. That's for damn sure. He handled COVID-19 better. It just, I don't know. It just went better. Yes, I am not on IG right now. Thank you for telling me that. I did not know that. All right. So we're talking about this guy, Trump, former president, who claims that he wants to come back. Right? He doesn't really want to come back. We'll see how that goes. Sad news in Baltimore. 2 were injured in Fells Point, a parking garage explosion. 2 folks injured. It was pretty visible and apparent that it was some type of explosion that occurred. The explosion was so intense, there's not much that they can make out of the vehicle. Said that the driver of the vehicle started the engine and the explosion occurred. Right now, they don't know what caused it. It exploded to the point where it blew out glass windows in the garage, as well as caused cracks in the cement. So 2 people, the driver of the vehicle and a bystander, suffered unspecified non-life-threatening injuries. And businesses and homes in a 1-mile radius of the garage actually were evacuated. So that was crazy. And I was in downtown Baltimore today. Now, I got a call. My parents called me after this story broke. But, so this happened in Fells Point on South Caroline Street. And I was, say a couple miles away, but, in this general area. But I didn't hear anything. But like I said, I'm far away. I was far away from it. So definitely, sad when stuff like that happens. It's just just a lot of weird stuff has been happening in the downtown area. So we're not going to go too deep into this, but the Fed unleashes another big rate hike in their attempt to curb inflation. So what does that actually mean? The Federal Reserve today raised its benchmark interest rates. So they raised it by 3/4, which is a lot, 3/4 of a point. Now, for the second straight time, this is very aggressive, and they're trying to drive in 3 decades, of work to tame this high inflation. Inflation is crazy, as many of you already know. So they're trying to do their job in trying to battle this. They're trying to prevent a recession. We don't want a recession. So, it's tricky. We're going to see what happens. But I don't think that that's going to stop this path that we are on. Should the economy continue to show signs of slowing, the Fed may moderate the size of its rate hikes as soon as its next meeting in September, perhaps to a 0.5 point. Such an increase, followed by possibly 1/4 point hikes in November and December, would raise the short-term rates to 3.25 or 3.5 by the end of the year, which will be very high, the highest since 2008. So we could be in the stages of a mild recession, but not like a recession. 50-50 shot. 50-50 likelihood of a recession in the next 2 years. That's what some of the folks in the know are saying. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. I don't know what to say. We gotta see where this thing is going. Now, of course, you're gonna blame a lot of things. The Republicans are gonna blame Biden. They're gonna blame stimulus. They're gonna blame a whole lot of things. All of them Democratic. But there are a lot of factors here. If you ask Biden, Biden's going to say it's Putin's fault. Putin's war. But there's also the pandemic. So there are a lot of factors here. Biden's policies played a small part. Putin and the war in Ukraine played a part as well, a bigger part. And the pandemic played a major part. How we've recovered from it. No one knew the effects. No one knew how much supply chains were going to be impacted, thus causing a ripple effect. They didn't know that. How could they know that? Nobody knew that. But here we are. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Of course, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show. Of course, onfire-tv.com. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then some folks are thinking about turning the reins back over to the lunatic Donald Trump. Now, look, Joe Biden ain't nothing to write home about. Definitely. Better than Trump's going to be. Would be. Could be. Was. Terry T Productions presents the citywide all-white affair going down Saturday, August the 13th at M&T Bank Stadium, the Upper North Club level. Of course, they got an all-star lineup, 9 p.m., 2 a.m. The legendary DJ Terry T, of course, Kenny K, DJ Booby, Sean Marshall, Tommy Davis, DJ Dre Hart, and Davon the Percussionist. Hosted by Dollar Bill, April Watts, Ryan the Lion, and Natural. It is a party that everybody's talking about. Tickets on sale now. Here's the thing. Tickets have got to be purchased in advance. You can get tickets, $55. Tables are $5.50. That comes with 10 tickets. You want to get tables, a section, any other info, contact Terry T Productions at 443-953-1966. Now, check this out. I got to say this again. No tickets will be sold at the day of the event. No money accepted at the door. No ticket, no entry, no exceptions, right? Now, this is a stadium, right? They're having this at the stadium, and I want y'all to go in there and act like y'all got some sense. How do you say that? The good sense that your mother gave you, that kind of sense, right? Because this is a big deal. This is a big deal. Looking forward to that. Had a chance to sit down with Terry T on Sunday. We had a great discussion. You can check that out on fire-tv.com or on YouTube. Also, before we get out of here, for the last 16 years, the Baltimore Crown Awards has been connecting, developing, honoring, and promoting the Baltimore scene. The Baltimore Crown Awards, the nomination process happening right now. This is going to determine the actual nominees for the show. Visit thebaltimorescene.org, thebaltimorescene.org, and let your voice be heard. 16th Annual Baltimore Crown Awards, Saturday, November the 19th at the Garage, 6 Lafayette Avenue in Baltimore. Visit thebaltimorescene.org, thebaltimorescene.org. Or you can text 443-248-2596 for tickets or other info. I will be back here tomorrow. Of course, The Diamond K Show. Anywhere you get your podcast, just search The Diamond K Show. See you guys tomorrow.